Oh, you got the original Lone Wolf coming at you real quick with a brief little video. I'm doing this video because of the Zoom meeting we had last night. We was covering a few topics and stuff, and this was on my mind, so I want to share this real briefly with you guys, and I want to say fair use. I am not using this as any type of legal advice. I'm not a lawyer. I don't even know any lawyers. All right, and I'm not trying to perpetrate as one. I do realize that it is a crime. I'm just simply going to give you some sources, and you can go and look this up for yourself. And I just want to point out a couple of things. All right, so what we got on screen right here is the Form 56. All right, this is what some of you brothers and sisters need to understand, so we don't be out here in the streets getting fucked up by Memphis police and Chicago police and Arizona policy officers, and you know what I'm saying. Let me help you guys understand something. When you appoint these people as the fiduciary, right? I'm not finna go into no definitions and all that other stuff, man. We'll say that for another time. In a nutshell, a fiduciary is a trustee, all right? When you're getting pulled over and you're dealing with a situation where they're trying to give you a ticket for a move violation and all this other stuff, right? In reality, you are the beneficiary. Do you understand? You're the beneficiary to the trust because it's the trust that they're giving the ticket to. That's why the ticket's in all capital letters. What trust, Longwood? The Sesticade. All right? So, because these policy officers, clerks of the court, the judge that's presiding over the traffic ticket, the prosecutor that's trying to rag you for the traffic ticket and the whole 9 yards, right? Because these people are administrators, you have the ability under the Power of Appointment Act, provided that you go look into this information for yourself and come to the conclusion, all right? You could possibly have the ability to appoint these people as the fiduciary in these situations because you are the beneficiary and they are the alleged fiduciary / trustee, because that's all a fiduciary is. It's synonymous with trustee. All right, so let's open up the instructions. This is just the instructions for the form, right? I'm not going to get into showing y'all the form and talking about filling out. I'm not doing all that on here. But I do want to read some stuff about the instructions. Okay, it tell you here, it says, who should file? You know what? Damn, it'd be nice if I could make this a little bit bigger. It say the purpose of the form is used to notify the IRS of the creation or termination, because keep in mind, it's a dual form. You can also terminate a fiduciary relationship. There are people out here that are discussing in different topics and different blogs and what have you about terminating your fiduciary, terminating Janet Yellen's fiduciary responsibility, who's the Secretary of the Treasury. Now, I haven't gotten that far into that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? But there is a lot of information out there that you can get into in regards to that, because you can terminate a fiduciary responsibility, and you can also appoint a person as a fiduciary responsibility or entity, etc., according to the Power of Appointment Act of 1951. Okay, so now what I want to express to you is, the purpose of the form is to notify the IRS of the creation or termination of a fiduciary responsibility under Section 6903 and provide the qualifications for the fiduciary relationship under Section 6036. It say who should file. It says the Form 56 should be filed by a fiduciary. See definitions below. To notify the IRS of a creation or termination of a fiduciary relationship under Section 6903. For example, if you are acting as fiduciary for an individual, a descendant's estate, or a trust, you may file Form 56. It says, now keep in mind, we just brought up Sesticade Trust. Keep that in mind. A trust is a trust is a trust is a trust. All right? As long as it's a trust, it's a trust. So that means anything that is a trust, these people can be appointed as the fiduciary. Because again, they're not giving you, the living, breathing man and woman, a ticket. They're giving the Sesticade Trust, which we know of as the straw man, the all capital letter name, associated with the birth certificate as well as the Social Security card. It's giving that thing the ticket. right? Because it's a thing, right? So now it says receivers and assignees for the benefit of creditors also file Form 56 to give notice of qualifications under Section 6036. However, a bankruptcy trust, debt in possession, or other like fiduciaries in bankruptcy, because keep in mind, if you understand what I've learned over these couple of years, you would understand that bankruptcy courts are unnecessary. But it's up to you to go do your own research. Now, I'm not getting into details and all that. I'm not doing that. But if you do your own research, the first question you'll ask is, what is the purpose of the bankruptcy court? Because they're trustees also. But those are ones we know about. They'll actually admit that. All right? Now, so it's a fiduciary in bankruptcy proceedings is not required to give notice of qualification. Wait, damn, did I skip something? For example, if you're... Oh, no, I'm sorry. It said, receivers and assigners for the benefit of creditors also file Form 56 to give notice of qualification under Section 6036. However, a bankruptcy trustee, debtor in possession, or other like fiduciaries in bankruptcy proceedings is not required to give notice of qualifications under Section 6036. Trustees, etc., in bankruptcy proceedings are subject to notice requirements under Title 11. You got Chapter 7 and Title 11 and Chapter 11, right, of the United States Code. It say, do not use Form 56 if you are notifying the IRS that you are the authorized representative of a taxpayer. Instead, use Form 2848, Power of Attorney and Declaration of Representative. It say a fiduciary is treated by the IRS as if he or she is the actual taxpayer. I'm going to say that one more time, because y'all been hearing the Lone Wolf tell y'all for the longest. I just sent them the Form 56 and say, hey, man, take care of it. I'm going to read it again. It say a fiduciary is treated by the IRS as if he or she is actually the taxpayer. Upon appointment, the fiduciary automatically has both the right and responsibility to undertake all actions the taxpayer is required to perform. Who's the taxpayer, though? Because you're like, well, wait a minute, what are we talking about with taxes, Lone Wolf, and this, that, and the other? Who's the taxpayer? The taxpayer is the Sesticate Trust. Everything goes back to the flipping trust. And I'm not going into details and all that. I just wanted to read some of this and I'm getting up out of here. It's a, damn, I lost my place again. Shit. It's a, the fiduciary automatically has both the right and the responsibility to undertake all actions the taxpayer is required to perform. The taxpayer is a Sesticate Trust. It say, for example, the fiduciary must file returns and pay any taxes due on behalf of the taxpayer. Keep in mind, you the beneficiary to it all. They created off this shit all off your back. They tricked your mama when she gave birth to you and created all this shit off your fucking back. Nobody knows about it. Everybody wants to call it tinfoil hat shit. Everybody wants to call it conspiracy, but it's all true. Right? That's going to make you the beneficiary. As a matter of fact, you should be pissed the fuck off and say, I don't want to do none of this shit, you motherfuckers. Right? It said an authorized representative is treated by the IRS as an agent of the taxpayer. He or she can only perform the duties authorized by the taxpayer. Are you hearing me? It says indicated on Form 2848, an authorized representative is not required nor permitted to do anything other than the actions explicitly authorized by the taxpayer. Now check this out. I'm going to read this one last thing and I'm going to leave it alone. It says the definition of a fiduciary is any person in a position of confidence acting on behalf of any other person. A fiduciary assumes the power, right, duties, and privileges of the person or entity on whose behalf he or she is acting. Examples of fiduciaries include administrators. My God, it's right there, man. It's right there in black and white. Conservators, designees, executors, guardians, receivers, trustees of a trust, trustees in bankruptcy, personal representative, person in possession of property of the descendant's estate, or debtor in possession of assets in any bankruptcy proceeding by order of the court. All right? We'll get into this a little bit more down the road, all right? Especially for y'all in the Zoom meetings. But I just wanted to put that out there, man. You all have to understand that if you all don't read this shit and if you're unwilling to study it, I understand why the IRS and everybody else will throw their hands up and say, oh, well, that's on you. This the original Lone Wolf, man. I love y'all. To be aware is to be alive. I'm out.